Good evening, Yankee fans. Today is October 7th. It is 7:30 p.m. EST. We are about 30 to 35 minutes away from first pitch tonight. It is Game 3 of the American League Division Series. Your New York Yankees are trailing the Toronto Blue Jays 2-0 in the series. One loss, and they go home. My name is Ryan Garcia. Next to me is Chris Drew. This is Fireside Yankees. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and check out Fireside Yankees on all of your favorite social media platforms. Chris, going into a do-or-die game, how you feeling today, my friend?
Nervous, but good. Actually, this is the most relaxed I've felt all playoffs. I'll say that. This is the most relaxed I have felt, in large part because my hopes are not very high to come back from 2-0 while still acknowledging that it could be a chance, and there's a lot of pressure on Toronto this game because they're going bullpen game tomorrow if the Yankees win this game. So I'm feeling actually pretty decent. A little bit of a quiet confidence. And like my guy, the truth, the 99, we're going down with the ship. If we're going down, we're going to go down swinging.
Yeah, and I think, the mood you feel is a mood very similar to the one I feel, where if the Yankees lose, I will have expected it.
Mm-hmm.
And being at that point means accepting, like I've not accepted that it's over, but I have accepted that where we're at right now, it is unlikely that the New York Yankees will be playing baseball this weekend. That when Friday comes around, either A, the season will have already been over, or that B, when that game ends, the Yankee season will be over. That is the likeliest outcome. It is what it is. But with that being said, I think that there's still a baseball game that we have to talk about, because
Bingo.
If we're going to sit here and give this defeatist attitude that it's over, I feel like that puts the wrong energy in the air, and that's not us doing our job. So
no, honestly, my energy is more like nothing to lose energy.
Yes, I agree. And again, we'll get into this later in the show. Teams have done this before. We're not talking about coming back 3-0 in the World Series. Like, this is a different feeling than last year during entering game 4, where it's like, this is over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is over. The Los Angeles Dodgers will win the 2024 World Series. This is different. It just is. And the same way that in game 4, I felt, not apathetic when Volpe hit the grand slam, but apathetic when the Dodgers led, I sort of feel some sense of apathy right now, where that's the only parallel I draw. The parallel of I've accepted what will likely occur in this series, and it is a defeat. But if the Yankees want a chance to win, they're going to have to win tonight. And Carlos Rodon will take the mound for the New York Yankees. Carlos Rodon entering his second start of the postseason, has a 3.09 ERA in the regular season, a 4.50 ERA in his lone playoff start against Red Sox. 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 4 total hits. In the regular season, he pitched in 133 starts, 195 and a third innings, had 203 strikeouts, and again, a 3.09 ERA. He's been the second best pitcher on the Yankees this year. He's been a top 10 pitcher in the American League this year. But Chris, I think his last start was definitely a letdown for him. It didn't feel like he was as good as he should have been. Going into tonight's start, what do you think of the keys for success for Rodon to have a big night?
Don't tip your pitches. Am I allowed to say that? Is it too soon for that? Really, for him, here's the thing. I have been really hard on Rodon in previous years because I felt like his blow-ups, he could never stop the bleeding. This year, last start, we talked about how Max Fried was either really electric or really bad. There was no happy medium. I do feel like Rodon this year, the thing he's done the very best is to, when things are not going his way, he doesn't have his best stuff, he'll still get you 6 innings with 2 or 3 earned runs. That's kind of the positive with him. So I need his fastball to play well. I need early innings, and I need early outs, and I need no walks. Pound the strike zone. And if Toronto's going to swing a lot, which we know they are, make sure it's soft contact on the ground. So don't be afraid to pound the strike zone. I know what happened to Max Fried happened, but if you are Carlos Rodon, you cannot be afraid to attack the strike zone.
Yeah, and kind of like what we saw in the Red Sox start When Rodon is disappointing, he's oftentimes still good enough for you to win the baseball game. Carlos Rodon, in 78.8% of starts this season, has allowed 3 runs or fewer. In all but 3 starts this season, he's allowed 4 runs or fewer. If you want to look at starts in which Carlos Rodon, quote unquote, crapped the bed or took the Yankees out of a baseball game, I'd look at June 8th against the Red Sox, 5 runs, allowed the go-ahead home run to Carlos Narvaez. If people remember that Sunday night game against the Mets, he got crushed in 5 innings. He allowed 2 home runs. But I guess Miami, I would say he was very bad in that start. He walked 5. It was that game where they collapsed. He played a big role in that happening. But outside of that, I mean, the game where he gives up the go-ahead home run to Jung-Hoo Lee, the Yankees were still in that game. The game where he gives up 4 to Diamondbacks, they were still in that game. The game where he gave up 3 to the White Sox, the Yankees ended up winning that game. And, another game I throw in here, the game against the Tigers, I know he allowed 5 runs, but it was 3 walks and 8 strikeouts. He was pretty unlucky in that start. He gave up a lot of hits that were mostly soft contact. So Rodon, for the most part, is going to give you a pretty competitive start. And this is where the Yankee offense kind of needs to step up. We'll get into that in a little bit. But with Carlos Rodon, as you mentioned, he has been someone who has been able to deliver for the Yankees time and time again. When the Yankees have needed Carlos Rodon this year, he has mostly stepped up, even in that Red Sox start. Gave the Yankees what they needed to win the baseball game, gave them some extra outs that I didn't think they were going to get from him that helped them with a bullpen that has been very leaky this year. And kind of the last thing I'd like to note here in return to in terms of key things to look at. While he hasn't been dominant against the Blue Jays, I don't think that's the right word to look for here. It's 2 earned runs in 5 innings. One of those games was a game where the infield defense betrayed him. And another stuff, 2 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 innings pitched. Like, if I get 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched from Rodon tonight, I'm not thrilled, but you should be able to win that baseball game. At that point, it falls on either the offense and or the bullpen to win that baseball game. So Rodon isn't someone that I would look at as a clear red flag against the Blue Jays, the way I would have looked at Rodon Fried in Toronto as someone who has struggled traditionally there. But the key here, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 10 for 17 with a home run and 5 RBIs in 21 plate appearances against Carlos Rodon in his career. 4 walks, 0 strikeouts. Carlos Rodon is going to have to turn that goose egg into any other number, I think, in order to have any success in the start. Chris, how are you going after?
Would you be opposed to just not pitching to Vladdy this game? Would you oppose to kind of nibbling and working around him and making him get himself out and not worrying about him on the base paths?
No, I agree. I think that's honestly
that's the formula. Look, Elam game in the Bronx, I will let anybody else other than Vladdy beat me. Don't care.
Yeah, if you fall 2-0, don't challenge him with a fastball.
No, absolutely not. Just give in. I'm a believer in giving in an Elam game.
Right. This is a situation where runs are a premium, and Rodon can pitch out of traffic. Like, Rodon is someone who has walked a good amount of people this year, 73 walks in 195 in the third innings, but it's also come with a gigantic decrease in quality of contact. So, numbers like FIP, XFIP, Sierra, they don't think he's been much better than where he was last year. They think he's been better than last year, but not by a considerable margin. I think he's just he's gone from a number 3, 4 to a 2 or 3. But expected ERA, he has a 3.31 expected ERA. That's really good because expected ERA takes into account batted ball data. Rodon's cut down the barrel rate, a lot more weak fly balls. It's not like he has a hilariously low home run to fly ball rate as well. It's 11.1%. That's definitely a reasonable number for a pitcher pitching at Yankee Stadium who gives up a ton of fly balls. But you're going to need to see some swings and misses come back for Rodon. He saw that tail off a little bit towards the end of the season, and we saw a little bit of it against the Red Sox, but it was ultimately kind of squashed by some poor command and some ill-timed walks. We'll see if Rodon can bring the swing and miss back against a Blue Jay team that does not strike out, guys. They do not swing and miss really ever. They're going to fight. They're going to battle. They're going to challenge Rodon. They're going to put him in uncomfortable situations. They're going to make him sweat, which we know he kind of does a lot.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. And we're gonna need his very best. He's done a really good job being really workmanlike. So I no longer worry about big game crumbles from him because I think he kind of made the mistake and adrenaline dumped a year ago against Kansas City. But since then, he's been really, really workmanlike. And to me, all year, he's been the most stable horse. So in the first of the 2 Elam games you're going to get in the Bronx, he's kind of who you want to go to. That's who you would want. And I want to kind of start to shift towards the offense in the lineup. Dog, outside of 1 inning this postseason, in high leverage spots and against relievers that matter, the Yankees have not been very good on offense. Now is the time. If they're going to show up on offense, it has to be this game.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to need to provide some semblance of, the offense is going to need to show up. And, this is where we talk about being down 0-2. The Yankees, To their credit, the last time they were down 0-2 in a division series, they went on to win that series. That was against Cleveland. Number one, that is not a reason to say the Yankees are going to win this series. It's just a reason to say it can be done. It's not impossible.
And it's just a data point. It's a data point to look to.
Right. It's not even specific to the Yankees. You can look at, obviously the 0-1 Yankees did it against Oakland, but the Red Sox have done it. The Blue Jays have done it to the Texas Rangers, funnily enough, in 2015, the last time they won the division. So that's kind of a funny parallel. But when we look at the New York Yankees and where they're at right now, being down 0-2, you need to win 3 straight games. The Yankees have won 3 straight games before. It's not impossible to win 3 straight games. It's just very difficult. But they're going to need the offense to step up. And, we kind of, again, you want to kind of take that time machine, go back to 2017. Masahiro Tanaka delivered a gem of a game. He was brilliant. And we know he was a brilliant postseason pitcher. And the offense got 1 home run out of Greg Bird, and off they went. They would go on to win the next game. Offense woke up. And then the game after that, offense wakes up, kind of knocks around Corey Kluber, specifically Didi Gregorius, and they end up winning that series. I don't want to have to win a game 1-0, but if that's the way you win a game, it is what it is. Like, at this point, kind of take the wins where you can get them. But it starts with guys stepping up. Tanaka was a star. Judge kind of broke through with a big hit in Game 4. Bird had the big home run off of Miller. Game 5, Didi Gregorius went Superman, 2 home runs against Cleveland. Those are the kinds of performances you're going to need from this team in order to win. It's not going to be, Rodon was decent, offense did enough. Like, that's not going to cut it at this point in time. You need heroes. You need Rodon to etch his name in history. You need, you need somebody in this offense to have a 2 home run game. You need Judge to wake up. We kind of saw this in the World Series where he woke up, but it felt like it was too little, too late. But I will also say, like, if he doesn't drop that ball, maybe it wasn't too little, too late.
Right.
For Judge, like, or stay and I'm not going to jump too far ahead, but like, we'll get into that in a bit. But you're going to need heroic, Herculean efforts from some people today and moving forward.
Thoughts on today's lineup? They go Trent, Aaron, Cody, Ben Rice, Giancarlo, Jazz McMahon, Volpe, Wells. A lot of complaining on the timeline in regards to, well, maybe they should have platooned. Shane Bieber this year doesn't have the best splits against righties. Wanted to get your opinion on this, Ryan.
So the Yankees not going with a platoon-heavy lineup or not changing things up, I think is fine. Shane Bieber, his numbers against righties this year being worse is a 1-year thing. It is not
every other year. It's very close.
Right, and I think that what you struggle with here is overvaluing 79 plate appearances versus a career sample. In his career, Shane Bieber has struck out more lefties and walked fewer of them. Struck out more lefties, but he's walked fewer righties. But if you look at the home run department, it's for lefties 1.16 in his career and 0.93 for righties. I think the Yankees need to lean into what they do well. Not that, you want them to walk more and hit more home runs. Bieber doesn't walk righties and he doesn't give up home runs to righties. He doesn't walk lefties a lot, but he does walk them at a higher clip. Mm-hmm. That is the theme here. And he gives up home runs at a pretty high rate. You need to hope that you can bank on that to win this baseball game. It's that simple. The Yankees need to walk and hit home runs. I have no problem with the lineup they put out there. I've seen people say, why is Grisham playing? Why is this guy playing? Why is that guy playing? If you lose because Trent Grisham didn't hit, that's on Trent Grisham. Like, it's that simple. Everyone said, you gotta play with the guys who got you here. Put out your best 9. If that changed for you after 4 baseball games, you don't have a strategy. You're just reacting. At that point, you're just reacting. You're not putting together a strategy. You don't have a thought process. That's where I'm at. Like, that simple. If you want your best 9 out there, they put out their best 9. That's all I heard in Game 1. That's all I heard after Game 1. All I heard for 24 hours, play your best 9, play your best 9. Why aren't they playing their best 9? They're playing the best 9. So if you're complaining, and you're complaining on Game 1 of the Red Sox series, weird to change that crazy after a week, right, Chris?
Are you bugged by the order? Because I think the right 9 are playing. I would wonder, though, if Trent Grisham, given how garbage he's been this year.
I would have let off Rice.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Rice in front of Judge all year has been fantastic.
Yeah.
He sees more fastballs. He hits fastballs harder. He strikes out less. And I know he had 2 bad games against a splitter, and we kind of saw that coming. But unless there's something I'm missing, Shane Bieber doesn't throw a splitter.
Yeah, his changeup is a better pitch, and it's been in years past, but it is a more typical off-speed pitch versus your Savage and Gausman, who are throwing outlier pitches. And, Ben Rice didn't hit. No one hit. Aaron Judge is the only guy who hit. The only guy who hit in those two games. So that is not I don't think that's a Ben Rice specific issue. If you want to look at how Ben Rice is hit, based on his position in the batting order. I think that's interesting data to look at. In his career, it's a 148 WRC plus. It's 153 this year, 137 last year. His on base is low at 327. It's pretty interesting, but this year was 363. Like, it was higher in the leadoff spot.
Last year, he had a swing decision issue.
Yeah, but he's slugging 570 in his career, 359 ISO. Like, he sees, and this is actually really funny. It's a 173 batting average on balls in play. That's hilarious.
Disgusting.
That's the most Ben Rice stat line I've ever seen. Like 173 BABIP, 148 WRC plus. But hitting fourth this year, 122 WRC plus, but he's been more swing happy. I think leading him off just puts him in the right mindset. You know, like, I think it's all about mindsets. And not that I don't want Grisham to be in the patient mindset, but I think he's like, that's who he is. Ben Rice tends to make a lot of contact out of zone. That hurts his walk rate. So like sometimes when he swings at a pitch out of zone, instead of it being, 2-1 or 1-1 or 0-1, it's a ground ball and it's meekly hit. Like, that is an issue in his game at times. I think that's something you eliminate by leading him off. I have to say this. I don't think that he's even having, like, Bellinger shouldn't be hitting in front of him. In my opinion, it should be Rice, Judge, Bellinger, Stanton, Grisham, Chisholm. But I guess the thing you have an issue with is then you stack 4 lefties together. I think what Boone was trying to do was split up the lefties. But I don't know if that's something I care about.
You could split them up, though, and still have... So you could hit Ben Rice first, Jazz Chisholm fourth, and Trent Grisham sixth, and you still get the variance in your lineup. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think I've seen enough of Trent Grisham. Like, he's not right now. I wouldn't mind having him hit sixth instead of Jazz Chisholm. Have Jazz hit between Cody and Giancarlo, and have Ben Rice hit first.
Well, what I was going to say was I wouldn't, like, again, I think the right 9 are playing. I still
I agree. That. Right 9 are playing.
But what I think is important to look at here is if you even have that lefty stack of 3 of them in a row, Chris, that's like, if John Schneider isn't really thinking, which I'm sure he is, if he puts a lefty in there, dude, you bring in Paul Goldschmidt, you're getting a knock. Bingo. Right? Like, you kind of want to. And this isn't me saying that, like, if the Yankees lose this game, it's because Boone didn't tactically do X, Y, and Z.
No, but we can still be frustrated about the lineup.
You can still be critical. And I also say this, like, it's possible he makes a mistake that costs you a baseball game. Like, I also want to put that out there. But at the same time, I think that my biggest criticism of Aaron Boone's 2025 season has been the usage of Ben Rice. I think Ben Rice has been, like, Ben Rice's underlying data, and this stems back to last week, but I think that he underutilized Rice when he was playing LeMahieu over him. I think there were mistakes he made with Ben Rice. Ben Rice is their second best hitter this year when you combine the regular and postseason. You take into account how healthy he's been compared to Stanton, all of that, the whole 9 yards. He's been their second best hitter this year. You want to argue it's Stanton? Fine, cool. I don't care. Point is, it's either 2 or 3. I think that needs to get valued a little more here. Like, I think Ben Rice needs to be looked at as, like, he and Judge are the dynamic duo in the middle of this offense because they're righty-lefty. They work well off of each other, et cetera, et cetera. And I think if we look at the future of the New York Yankees, having continuity, because the Yankees haven't had a lot of continuity in their roster over the last few years. If you look at their playoff teams, 24, 25, completely different teams, completely different people. I get it, Soto left, all that. But that's not even just a Soto thing. Ben Rice is the guy who I would like. I think Wells, I'm pretty comfortable saying Wells will play out his entire rookie contract with the New York Yankees because he's a great defender.
Agreed.
Ben Rice is going to play his 6 years out here. Ben Rice is someone I look at, and he's the best homegrown hitter they've developed talent-wise. He's obviously not as good as Aaron Judge. I don't think he'll ever be as good as Judge.
Since Aaron.
Right. He's a more talented hitter than Andujar was. He's a more talented hitter than Torres was. Gary was before Judge, technically, so that's why that's tongue in cheek, I guess, because like I
think Ben Rice is going to be a more talented all around hitter than Gary was.
Well, I also think I agree, and again, like you just look down that list of Yankee homegrown guys, he's the most talented hitter. Wells, it's the fact he's a great defensive catcher and he's a good enough hitter for that to be something that allows him to be a 3 to 4 win catcher every single year. But Ben Rice is like Ben Rice and Aaron Judge need to be a combination every single time you throw out a lineup. But I think that's something that Aaron Boone either hopefully tomorrow, hopefully I can talk about this being a tomorrow thing, or at the very least next year needs to have as like the adjustment. That needs to be an adjustment they make moving forward. But I do think they're playing the right 9. I think, again, when we talk about order is definitely I think the point you can pick apart here.
They are. I'll say this too. I would rather have I'd rather have Jazz hit 4 instead of Rice, because Jazz's speed could eliminate a double play ball every now and again from Stanton.
And Rice is not going to do that.
Yeah, Rice isn't going to do it, but Jazz hitting 4 and Giancarlo 5, you can put Jazz in motion. You can have Jazz try to swipe second and kind of take that double play out of play for Giancarlo, is my belief.
Well, again, we talk about like patience, process, approach. Like I want Rice getting more at bats than Trent Grisham and then Cody Bellinger. And like the issue I'm having with Bellinger right now, I'll give Grisham the credit of like, I don't think he's making bad swing decisions. He's just not making any contact. Bellinger is like swinging his way out of walks. He is like, he is not having good at bats.
Tricky.
It's interesting. Like I think that, and I hope it doesn't have to be tonight. But I think if the Yankees lose in this series, like the conversation around Bellinger and Grisham are going to be dramatically different than the ones we were having at the end of the year because of their postseasons. But again, I hope they don't have to have this conversation tonight. I hope that's when I can have never. I hope I can have the conversation of like, hey, they may not be back, but what a great year where guys, we won the World Series, X, Y, and Z. Like, but unfortunately, the likelier outcome is that we're going to talk about an end of year kind of episode this week. And I don't want that to be the case, but that's the likely outcome if we play by the percentages here. And I think that's, again, something that we can look at. This is not in hindsight. This is at 7:52 p.m. The game hasn't even started. So we said this now. This is put in paper. Hopefully what happens, Chris, is that Grisham hits 2 home runs, Bellinger hits 2 home runs, and we laugh about it. Right? Isn't that what we want? Like, that's what we want. We want to be wrong, but
just laugh about it. 2 home runs would be nice. Would be electric.
Yeah, I hope they hit, because again, they've done it all year for the Yankees. It just hasn't translated to the postseason. Now, 2 guys that I'm looking at heavily, because if you look at these 2 guys, not that they've both been bad. It's unfair to say Aaron Judge had a bad postseason. That's an unfair statement.
This year?
Yes, it's an unfair statement to say Aaron Judge had a bad postseason. Giancarlo Stanton has had a bad postseason. It's been
atrocious.
Now, for Judge, it hasn't been in a highly impactful postseason, but part of that is because the pitching staff hasn't really given him opportunities to be impactful in the series.
We're not taking any walks.
Right. He had one chance. He had one chance to make an impactful swing this series. He miffed it. And that's on him. And that's part of this conversation for sure. You need these 2 guys to be productive and have impact. If they come up in spots, if they don't ever get a chance to have an impactful at bat, whatever. But if they have a chance to put their thumb on the series and put their thumb on this game, they need to do it. They need to show up. It's that simple. They need to show up.
Judge and Stanton in this game have a chance to put a ton of pressure on the Blue Jays. Because if they hit tonight and they bring the belief back and they kind of bring more juice into this lineup that has a lot of young players in it, and they have an offensive explosion similarly to how Toronto had, and they win, tomorrow it's Cam Stiller versus a bullpen game, and that should be advantage Cam at home, right?
Yeah.
So for me, at least, like, I'm waiting because I feel like a Giancarlo wake-up game is going to happen. And I'd be bummed if we made it through the whole postseason and we did not get to see October Giancarlo Stanton. I feel like he is too good of a postseason hitter, and him and Aaron Judge are two generational mashers. For them to make it through a whole postseason with no home runs and you're 2 series in, I think is very, very unlikely. So if one of them has a chance to put their stamp on this game and put all the pressure back on Toronto, I mean, that'd be massive.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to hit home runs for this team to get to where they want to get to. And again, this postseason, they've got none.
Yeah. And look, I also got to say this. These guys get hot for 3 games. You're going to win 3 games.
Yeah.
Like if you look at when the Yankees were crushing teams at the end of the year, you can say they're bad teams. That's why. And sure, they are bad teams. But if you look at what these games included, Judge was unstoppable. If you look at that Orioles series, Judge and Stanton were unstoppable. When those 2 guys are unstoppable, this team can't be beat. It's that simple, folks. And I say it every time. I say it in every pregame show. I say it about Judge, and I say it about Stanton. If these 2 guys are on, you're going to win baseball games. And again, to the point of Stanton, his issues and Judge's issues are different.
Bingo.
Stanton is having bad at-bats. He has not been impactful because he's not been good. He's had chances. He hasn't been good. Game 1 of the wild card round, he almost cost you your season. Aaron Judge has had 2 or 3 chances to change the game. One of them was the ball that bounced off Durant's glove. The other was in the 9th inning where he has a runner on and he's the tying run and he hits the single against Chapman, I'd say that, you're not trying to, you need base runners, right? You can't win the game with his home run, and you don't want to go up there swinging for the home run and strike out. Like, that's just not, you just want to have a
and it is Chapman, put bat on
right.
ball.
But the one that's the most recent is the Gausman at bat.
Yeah.
And that was an atrocity of an at bat. And it's why, despite how good his numbers look, go ahead.
I thought it was a good at bat until the final swing.
I should have meant an atrocity of a swing. It was a good at bat.
Yeah, it was.
You're right.
And I haven't seen Aaron take a swing like that all year. And so that's how I knew that he was overthinking and not picking up the ball very well.
Well, I actually looked at it. Like, he's taken 9 swings in his career at pitches there.
Wow.
And it's interesting. His swing rate at those pitches are like 3% in the regular season, 6% in the postseason. I know 6% isn't crazy, but that's still a pretty notable jump. But that's a different conversation. Hope I don't have to have the conversation kind of podcast. Despite how good he's been in the series, 571, 667 on base, 714 slug, a negative 0.08 win probability added, and a negative 0.7 championship win probability added. So he is decreased very marginally. I mean, you can say he just hasn't had an impact on the series. Aaron Judge hasn't had an impact on the series, and if it is, it's slightly negative.
Yeah.
He needs to just keep doing what he's doing, but in big spots. That's it's again, 2 very different problems. One of the guys looks good, the other guy doesn't look good, but when the guy that looks good, it's usually going to be in situations that the game's either over or doesn't really matter. Stanton needs to just get right. I'm more concerned about Stanton tonight than I am about Judge. I think Judge, if you told me, hey, Judge is going 2 for 3 tonight with a home run and a walk. Okay. Makes sense. Cool.
That's cat.
That makes sense to me. Like, that makes sense. I've seen the at-bats. That makes sense. If you told me Stanton goes like 3 for 3 tonight, bunch of 100-mile-per-hour rockets in the air, I'm like, oh boy, we're back. Right?
Season
like, yeah.
back on.
Yes. Judge, I'm not saying again that I don't want to imply that if Judge plays well, we're not back. Like, that's unfair to Judge, just to say that, like, Stanton doing that out of nowhere is a seismic event. You need a seismic event.
Well, that was my next point. I think a Stantonian blast, a Stanton home run, a Stanton missile is more demoralizing to Toronto than an Aaron Judge one.
I think it just changes the way you pitch. Toronto's been comfortable throwing to these guys all day.
They've been super comfortable feeding Giancarlo strikes.
Yeah. Look, Judge is giving them good at bats, but look at the top 5. Look at the OPS numbers for these guys. I'm going to read the OPS of every guy in the starting lineup. In the postseason, 427 Grisham, 1024 Judge, 659 Bellinger, 846 Rice. And let's be honest, that's from the wild card series.
Bingo.
That is because he had a very good game too. Outside of that, it's been very bad. Stanton 440, Chisholm 423, McMahon 606, Volpe 737, Wells 41. And again, Wells, another guy where put his thumb on the scale in the wild card series, complete 0 in this series.
Bingo.
There are a lot of zeros in here. There are a lot of nadas. Nothing. Got nothing out of these guys here. So someone needs to step up. That's simple.
Yeah, honestly, it's funny. I did the thing where I feel comfortable runners in scoring position having Volpe up than Stanton right now, and that's a disgusting thing to say in the playoffs because I feel like Volpe's been seeing the ball really well.
Oh yeah, it's gross. I mean, dude, again, the Yankees offensively with runners in scoring position this postseason have mostly been mundane.
Yeah, I mean, literally outside of the 4-run inning in Game 3, where have they been?
Yeah, dude, and I want to clarify, that inning, part of it was a ground ball that Nate Lowe should come down with every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Every single bleeping time. He doesn't make the play. There's a lot of seeing eye singles. There wasn't a lot of the Yankees are hitting 244 with a 339 slug and a 293 on base. It's terrible. It's not good. Only the Tigers have really been. The Tigers have been worse. Wait, hold on. Correcting myself here. In terms of average, they actually have the fourth highest average with runners in scoring position this postseason.
Jesus.
That's hilarious. The issue is, in terms of slugging percentage, it's 339. That is kind of the issue here. They're not, but no one's hitting with runners in scoring position. It's actually crazy. So the average,
that's playoff pitching too, though.
Yeah, but it's just crazy because it's been this bad. No matter how good it is, 232 average, 298 on base, 371 slug is the average slash line in the postseason. With runners in scoring position, it's been bad everywhere. Look at the Phillies yesterday. I know they had a couple of hits and they got it going in the 9th, but oh boy, Bryson Stott, terrible bunt. They couldn't get the last guy across. actually want to put on bases loaded. I remember seeing the stat about bases loaded. Like, it's bad with bases loaded. We're on first, second, and third. Let's see what the league numbers are this postseason. Sorry that I'm derailing here with the numbers.
Nah, dude, I'm about to throw up.
Yeah. Okay. It's gotten better. It's gotten better.
Okay.
It's 318, 360, 432. But at one point, it was like a 180 average.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Yankees need Judge and Stanton wake up. And to be honest, Yankees need a miracle. And that's why I put this here. Yankees need a miracle to win this series, guys. They need to do something that, like, we will remember. We remember 2017 because they came back 3-2. I guess also because they were on the verge of Game 7. Like, that is also partially why. Yeah. But the what I remember about that team was the 17 ALDS. That was magical. That was one of the best, like, those 3 games are 3 of the best games I've ever witnessed for the Yankees. Ever. In my life. And it's going to need something that you tell your kids about in order for this to happen. And you know what? It's a lot of these stories end with elimination. That's how they end. That's why they're not. That's what makes the comeback special. Because a lot of these podcasts. Yeah, look, there's a lot of people who go down 2-0. I'm sure there's a Cubs podcast. We're down 2-0. But you know what? So and so. A Phillies podcast. But they're like, oh, we're down 2-0. But actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think there's a single Phillies podcast that's like, we're fine. We'll come back. Or we have a chance. I think they're like seasons caked.
But we have the best player in the world.
Right. And the other thing is, we've done it. Like, we've seen it. And we've seen, you can say, well, only one guy on that team is still here. Well, that one guy is the most important, and that's Aaron Judge.
It's the best player on the planet. Yeah.
Right. And I would say to a lot of people here, the 2017 Cleveland, whatever you want to call them, were better. That team would be favored to win they were favored to win the American League that year. They would be overwhelming favorites to win the AL this year. That 2017 team. Go ahead, please.
People acting like that Guardians team or Indians team was not better than the Toronto team is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
They were called the Windians. They were the 1 seed over the Astros that year. Like, everyone just kind of forgets that.
They won 100 games.
And this isn't even like, oh, they're so good and they were so tough to do it against that you should believe the Yankees can do it. No, I just want to give some credit to the 2017 Yankees. Like, I'm going to glaze that team till the end of time. That was one of the best Yankee teams I've seen. That just is, like, in terms of, like, the last.
But that decade. 2017 Yankee team isn't better than this team, right?
Correct. And I agree.
And this Toronto team is worse than that Guardians team.
What makes look, at this point in time, when the 2017 Yankees were down 0-2, no one went, oh, wow, that is a really good team. They're like, oh, this team was just not ready for it.
Yeah.
They were not ready for it. And I'm not, again, all this to say, guys, when you say, well, the 2017 Yankees were different, they weren't different until they did it. Bingo. Right? Like, you're not different from these other teams until you do it. You're just the same as all of those other teams until you either A, get knocked out, or B, lose. So, again, like, I look at things and say, the Yankees are not going to win this series in all likelihood. There's a very low chance they win this series. There is a chance they win tonight, though. There's like and because there's a chance, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about them having a chance, even if we underline all of it with, hey guys, it's likely we lose. It's likely that, again, either today, Wednesday, or Friday, we sit here live at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I don't know how late the games are going to go, and tell you guys, hey, it was a fun ride. We enjoyed everything, talking with you guys. And well, next year, this is not off season. We're not going anywhere, anything of that sort. I don't want to have that talk tonight, though. Not Chris, tonight. I'd like to, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know when it's going to be, but I hope it's not tonight. And that's what we're going to, that's kind of what I'm going to end on. Chris, you got anything else you want to add?
No, dude, I appreciate you. That's it.
Yeah. Look, miracles are miracles.
They want us to hold hands and pray.
Yeah. Look, again, guys, miracles happen because, or what makes a comeback special is because it wasn't supposed to happen. Cleveland wasn't supposed to lose to the Yankees. Chicago wasn't supposed to beat Cleveland. Cleveland was supposed to beat Golden State. Like, all of these things stem from it wasn't supposed to happen. No one thought it would happen, and then it did. We'll see if this Yankee team can do it. Look, all of their 3 most recent playoff wins have come in elimination games. Let's make it 4. Let's at least make it 4. Make it 4 tonight, and we can start having some conversations. Let's go, Yankees. If you guys enjoyed this live stream, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to check out Fireside Yankees and know of our latest uploads. Make sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page, all with the handle at Fireside Yankees. Our personal Twitter accounts, I'm at Ryan Garcia ESM. Chris is at Christopher Drew _. You better know how to spell it by now.
Yeah.
We'll be live tonight after the game, regardless of outcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys hopefully later tonight in some better moods. Peace out, everyone. Let's go, Janks.